Okay, before I begin the review, I want to ask a quick question. Anyone that's played the games to this anime series, are they following the actual games correctly, or is this a standalone story? Whatever it is, I do like this episode, but if we look at this actual episode in an entire large perspective, this was pretty much a fetch quest. If we adapt a fetch quest from an MMORPG, that's exactly what this episode was. It really is exactly like that, except we had nitty-gritty, like, you know, character interactions. That was just really nice. It was really cool getting to see something like that. But was this episode good? Did it progress the story-wise? Did it actually progress the plot in the great direction? Honestly, I could say no. It didn't actually have a lot of progression. The only thing that really happened that was developed this episode is a little bit of character development with Logy and seeing 2 new character introductions this episode. We get to see the Great Witch, and we also get to see the Traveling Apothecary. I like these 2 characters. They're really interesting. They don't give me bad vibes. They have interesting voice actors, but I want to know more about them. But let's begin talking about from this episode from the beginning to the end. So this episode all around, it starts off with those relaxing vibes that the series gave me from the first episode. It's a series that you take and just, you know, want to chill, grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and just enjoy the atmosphere that this series gives you. I don't feel like this series should be compared to action-based, like, anime or something, because this series looks like it's going to focus more on character development and slowly work itself up into a plot. Except if we remember RPG games, well, they usually have a very slow and rocky start, but when the plot finally gets dropped, the story just takes a 180 turn, and it starts getting badass, or it just drags you in. I feel like this is what the anime is going to do. Right now, it's just taking its time, slowly developing the characters, which is a good thing. I feel like doing a slow pace from an RPG adaptation into an anime is definitely a good thing. You do not rush these type of things. You definitely take the time to develop characters. I feel like that's what they're doing with this episode. We get to see the actual inner workings of each of our individual characters, how they act, getting to see a little bit of their personality, like Escha is the happy-go-lucky, straightforward type character that just seems to want to help anyone out. We got Logy that seems to have a darker type past. We see a little bit of development with him this episode, and that it seems like my theory from last episode was correct. We see in his, like, memories when he zones out that there was, like, a burning blimp falling down in his capital city. So what exactly happened in the past with him? I still want to know more about that, but that entire aspect of his life most likely plays a major role into the future upcoming plot for this story. So let's move on to the 2 new characters that are introduced. Really, I like the way they're set up. If we're actually looking at this as an RPG, most likely these 2 characters are going to play a major role later on for the rest of the series, and they're probably going to travel with Escha and Logy for the remainder of this anime. So I'm glad to know this, because I really love interesting characters that really mix up the flow of the series, and I feel like they'll have something to offer. I have to tell you though, freaking Logy is so lucky. He has 3 girls surrounding him now if they start to travel with him, and he's just by himself, so freaking lucky son of a gun. That's all I can say to that. Now, I like the overall, I guess, just music of this series. It really suits with the atmosphere, like I said from last episode. It continues to give those type of vibes. I am still interested to find out how the actual fighting mechanics of this anime is going to be. I mean, is it going to be just a standard action type fighting, or is it going to be something unique? I mean, you get to see a little bit of hint of fighting in the opening song. You get to see it looks like they're fighting some form of Titan Golem monster dungeon boss. So really, I was actually expecting and hoping that we would see like a dungeon boss this episode and see how the fighting style of this series is, but I'm still not disappointed. I'm not. It seems like the way this episode ended on a note where you see a girl pop up and say, please don't save me and all that, or don't help me. Pretty much, it will leave the vibe on you that said, okay, something is going to happen next episode. It's going to take a dark turn, and we're probably going to have some form of fighting scenes next episode. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Let me know your thoughts on this anime, everybody. Are you going to continue watching this series? Do you feel like this series is bad? Do you feel like the series is good? What do you feel about our characters? Do you feel like this is actually going to be a very good anime adapted from a game? Let me know in the comments below. Everybody, I love you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.